Time now for the press review with Alison Sargent. Good to see you, Alison.
You too, Delano.
You're starting out in Europe with a look at Joe Biden's visit to restore ties, essentially.
Yeah, Europe has rolled out the red carpet for Joe Biden. That's according to Spanish paper La Vanguardia. The paper says Biden landed in the UK with much of his work already done. That's because the paper says Europe is really ready to welcome him with open arms after Donald Trump's 4-year hiatus. Still, European leaders are looking pretty skeptical in this front page cartoon from French paper L'Opinion. This is by Keck. We see Biden telling Emmanuel Macron and Angela Merkel that he's come to restore trust. But you'll notice that the headphones around Joe Biden's neck say NSA on them, and they connect to a tape recorder that's in Angela Merkel's pocket, a reference to the scandal over the U.S. spying on European allies. L'Opinion calls this trip Joe Biden's European test. Meanwhile, Joe Biden already had a bit of a test before he left for Europe, and that was from cicadas. As you may know, in the eastern U.S., a colony of cicadas known as Brood 10 has emerged from underground after 17 years. They are everywhere in Washington, D.C. right now, and Biden actually had to swat away a cicada as he was boarding Air Force One. The New York Times explains that they also filled the engines of the press plane, causing it to be delayed for 5 hours.
Wow. Now, Joe Biden is also going to have to face his adversary, Vladimir Putin, when he meets him in Geneva next week.
That's right, and Moscow is carefully preparing for that meeting. That's according to Russian paper Kommersant. They cite the foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov, who we see pictured on their front page here, who said that he doesn't expect to see any breakthroughs at this meeting. Now, for the New York Times, Putin has already sent Biden a very clear message by banning the political movement of jailed opposition leader Alexei Navalny. That message, according to the New York Times, Russia's domestic affairs are not up for discussion. Still, the paper notes that Biden has promised to push back against Putin's violations of international norms. So the paper said it's not really clear that Biden is going to agree to accept those terms.
Now, Joe Biden is also going to be confronted with internal European politics over in the UK.
Yeah, we read on the front page of The Independent that Biden, who has Irish ancestry, will be putting pressure on Boris Johnson, urging him not to put peace in Northern Ireland at risk. This is over what the British media have dubbed the Brexit sausage war. The UK wants to extend the grace period, waiving border checks on chilled meats so that they can keep sending meat to Northern Ireland. The EU, though, isn't having it, and they could retaliate. A tabloid, The Daily Star here, is accusing European chiefs of waving their chipolatas in our faces. Meanwhile, a cartoon from Peter Brooks in The Times shows Emmanuel Macron checking out the hotel restaurant menu as he arrives for the G7 summit. The special, you'll notice, is British sausage served 5 different ways. Macron is wondering if it's another slap-up, which is a play on words in British English. A slap-up meal is a big meal, and then, of course, also a reference to Emmanuel Macron being slapped in the face earlier this week.
Indeed. Now we're moving on to another diplomatic dust-up, this time playing out in South America.
Yeah, this is between Brazil and Argentina. It is all over the news in both of those countries. It was sparked by a comment made by Argentina's President Alberto Fernandez as he met with Spain's prime minister, seemingly trying to impress him. He said Mexicans came from Indians, Brazilians came from the jungle, but we Argentines came on ships from Europe. This Brazilian paper explains that the phrase is similar to one written by a famous Mexican poet, but it actually came from a song by an Argentine musician who the president is a fan of. The comment, though, has sparked outrage in Brazil, Mexico, and Argentina for being racist. Argentine paper Clarín reports on the response from Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro. He tweeted this photo of himself with an indigenous community, along with the word jungle and the emoji of the Brazilian flag. One Brazilian senator, though, had perhaps the most biting response. He wrote on Twitter, "I now have a better understanding of why Nazi criminals fled to Argentina after World War II. I should mention that Fernandez did apologize and say that Argentina's diversity is something to be proud of.
And finally, from you, Italians have been making fun of their football team. Due to the portrait picture which was taken.
Yeah, and the suits that they're wearing in that portrait taken ahead of the Euro Cup, which kicks off on Friday. These suits were designed by Italian designer Giorgio Armani, who wanted to create an innovative and elegant suit. But the Corriere Internazionale explains that many Italians were quite critical. They said the players looked like waiters or contestants on a cooking show. Maybe the team can redeem themselves with fans by beating Turkey in the tournament's first game, which is going to be on Friday.
Looks fine to me.
I know, right? I think it's the collars a little.
The fact that it's buttoned here, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, those guys look so good. It's hard to make them look bad.
Alison, thank you very much for that. Alison Sargent there with the press review. And you can check out other editions of our press review on our website. The address is france24.com.